Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look back at some of the races over the weekend, Friday and most of Saturday's racing, or the races that caught my eye on Saturday, and just discuss some of the runners. So the first one I want to talk about was on Friday, was John Bond beating Colonel Mustard and Nappers Hill. Now for me, the fact that he actually beat Colonel Mustard and not Nappers Hill and not El Bell, they were third and fourth rather than second and third, just puts a little bit of doubt into my mind about John Bond. And I think the fact that he didn't really change in the market for the Supreme Novice was fair. He won, and he won impressively, don't get me wrong. For me, I think Constitution Hill beat Might Eye in a better style than John Bond beat Colonel Mustard here. But you can understand why John Bond is favourite for the Supreme Novice, and he's surely going to run a really big race. It's still going to be, I think, personally at the moment, it's still going to be John Bond versus Constitution Hill, and I do think my mate Mozzie will get in there as well for Gavin Cromwell. But yeah, Nicky Henderson certainly could have a Bouvoudère Altior year on his hands here with John Bond and Constitution Hill. Second horse I want to talk about a little bit is Manila Kakuna, just that I thought very impressive when winning at Navan. The race was won last year by Bob Ollinger. Now, trainers do like to send their best horses to the same type of races, or, you get the same strong form lines through races. So Manila Kakuna won it impressively. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. I would want to see another run from Manila Kakuna before getting really excited about him, but he won as expected and did everything right. So let's move on to the first horse I want to talk about in terms of future races, and there's actually two in here. I'll quickly mention one. Any Second Now dropped out the back, ran on fine. He's Grand National bound, despite running over 2.5 over hurdles, he's Grand National bound, so a ninth place position. I'm sure they were pretty happy with that. But the horse that's interesting for me was Volcano. Now, we'd obviously highlighted Volcano for the Martin Pipe after he looked like he didn't stay the 3-mile trip at Navan previously. This was the 2.5-mile trip, and he hit the front, and you can see he traded a low of 1.19. Before getting caught by 3 of them, I think, on the line. I think it was a good race. I think it was a good run. Interestingly, for Volcano, he's probably dropped to a mark now that he's not going to get in the Martin Pipe. So next time he runs, I think he'll be in it to win it. And I really think I think they went for it here, but I think they'll just get their timings a little bit better. They'll leave it a little bit later before hitting the front. I thought he got there a little bit too soon. And there is a race on the 22nd of January. We have a look at the Navan fixture list. This one here, on the 22nd of January, it would be this race here. 2.5-mile handicap hurdle that he would get in, and then hopefully run I think he's got to win that to get in at the Cheltenham Festival. So he's one that before the Cheltenham Festival, hopefully we'll be trying to win. Obviously, it's quite tricky to spot those types of horses. You often get horses that are having just a fitness run before the Cheltenham Festival in January, February, and the plan is all about March. Well, if the plan's March for Volcano, they probably have to win at Navan in January. Moving on to the just short of 3-mile handicap chase, there's a couple here that I'm interested in. Grand Sancy got to go back over hurdles. When I make this tweet, I'm going to tag Paul Nicholls and try and suggest that he needs hurdles. He's just putting himself under pressure and behind all the time by jumping poorly at his fences. Send him back over hurdles, and I actually think he's still got the ability. He's just not enjoying his fences at all. Another horse that also pulled up is one from that I'm interested in going forward, and that's Storm Control. Interestingly, there was no money for Storm Control. Considering he went off 7-2 for the Caspian Caviar, to then go off 12 to 1 for this race next time out, having dropped in the way. I know he pulled up at Cheltenham and he's pulled up again, but surely he's coming back for the January handicap over, I think it's 2 mile 4, which is the better trip for Storm Control. All of his formers at Cheltenham. It's like 60 sleeps to January, 60 sleeps to Cheltenham handicap chase or something like that. It's called. That's at Cheltenham in January. So he's one that I do want to be interested in, and I think he's going to drop another 2, 3, maybe £4 for this, and be incredibly well handicapped when returning to the course he likes. So that was talking about both of them. This was the race that was interesting here. They're calling it the Paddy Power Millionaire Trophy Handicap. And that's the race I think we'll find Storm Control in next. The final race I want to talk about is the Betfair Exchange Trophy. I think this will work out really, really well. Why do I think it'll work out well? The winner, Tritonic, we'd obviously highlighted after he finished 5th in the Great Hurdle. I think he dropped £1 for that. Connections, or the trainer, didn't make the same mistake he did with Edwardstone, where he ran him over fences. It didn't work. He brought him back over hurdles and won a 10 grand handicap hurdle, and then finished 3rd, 5th and 3rd, or 5th, 3rd and 5th. I can't remember the order, in 3 big handicaps. I think it was the Betfair Hurdle, the County Hurdle, and the 2.5 at Aintree. Well, if he'd not won that 10 grand race at Newton Abbot, he would have probably won one of those races. They didn't waste Tritonic here. They went straight from finishing 5th in the Great Hurdle to winning this. Travelled really well and was a really impressive winner. The horses behind also had very, very good form. One More for the Road was one that we'd highlighted as coming from that race that generally works out really strongly. It's the, I think it's called the Intermediate Handicap Hurdle at Newbury. There was only 4 runners this year, but he managed to beat Captain Morg. Captain Morg had come from the Guard Your Dreams form line. That was a good run. Gary Claremont also came from the Captain Morg form line. Gary Claremont finished 2nd to Captain Morg's. The 4th horse, Metier, we'll come back to. 5th was West Cork, who had won the Great Hurdle, and I think he kind of bounced because I thought he travelled well, turned him into the straight, and then found very little. I don't want to give up on him even. I think he could be aimed at the County Hurdle now. We know Dan Skelton likes the County Hurdle. We also know that West Cork runs well at Cheltenham in big handicap hurdles. And I just think he felt his layoff at the end of the race yesterday. And it's something that does happen. They often travel really well and then don't find anything later on, but that's them bouncing. The 6th horse, Landinabo Lad, good run. 7th and 8th were Goshen and Benson. I think you'll find that Goshen, I want to give Goshen another go in a handicap. It was only good to soft in places. Now, Gary Moore had suggested that Goshen wants soft ground, and I don't think it was soft enough for Goshen. Don't want to give up on him. The Betfair Hurdle is where I think we'll see him next. Hopefully on softer going, he'll drop in the handicap. He'll drop another £3 or £4, and he'll start to look very, very well handicapped. Benson was scrubbed along from the very beginning. The headgear didn't work. It's not headgear that he needs. It's a step up and trip he needs. And I think they'll return to Ascot for the 2 mile 3 Holloway handicap hurdle here on Saturday the 22nd of January. That extra trip will suit him. He should get the right going for him. And as I said, I can see 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th all winning future races. So normally I would say that the Intermediate Handicap Hurdle at Newbury is the race that's going to work out the best. This year, I think that's going to work out the best. Going back to Metier. Now, Metier ran a good race. He finished 4th after pulling up at Sandown just a few weeks before. He's a former Tolworth Hurdle winner. He ran in the Supreme Novice. He finished 7th. He was meant to be the best of the English. He's going to drop in the handicap, possibly, for finishing 4th. I think he'll drop £1 or 2. He's suddenly starting to look quite nicely handicapped as well. So where could they go with him? Well, his plan should be obvious. He's a winner of the Tolworth Hurdle. Run him in the Imperial Cup. Could he go on and win the bonus, like the county hurdle? Very possibly. But I do think we'll see Metier in the Imperial Cup. And I thought that fourth, as I said, I could understand why Tritonic ran so well. I had an angle for One More for the Road. I had an angle for Gary Claremont. I felt Westcourt would run well, but maybe not quite win yesterday. He didn't. But I think he can go and win a county hurdle. I really think this form is very, very strong. And finishing fourth, I made a tweet about this last week, about backing yourself and backing your own knowledge. And if you find a horse that's, say, won and you understand why, and you can see the horses, you can give explanations for the second and the third, look at the fourth, because the handicap is going to be nice on the fourth, potentially drop him. And if he drops him and he turns up in the Imperial Cup, I think he will go very, very close. I know he'll be off a high weight, but I don't think he'll even be off top weight if he turns up in the Imperial Cup. And for a Tolworth Hurdle winner that went off not that big a price for the Supreme Novice to end up in an Imperial Cup just, one season later after potentially 2 runs, I think that could be a very interesting bet in the Imperial Cup if he turns up there. So there's a few thoughts from the weekend's racing, Friday and Saturday. Not a lot catches my eye today on Sunday. And going forward, I think we've got racing on Monday and Tuesday, and then we're off. Are we off Wednesday? No, we've got racing on Wednesday as well. But Thursday, Friday, we're obviously off. Saturday is Christmas Day. And then we're back for the 26th, Boxing Day, some great racing. And the 27th, obviously, we've got the Welsh National at Chepstow, where we will be doing some previews on some of those races. I will obviously do my handicap drops on Tuesday, but that will probably be the last video before. I might do one on Christmas Eve, might do it on Christmas Day, depending on how Christmas Day is going, talking about Boxing Day racing. I hope you've all had a great year, and I will see you on the next video.